Before I get started on what I'm sure is a dumpster fire of a video, I wanted to say hello and thank you to everyone that is a new subscriber to the channel. Here I shitpost videos, make anime and video game related content, all while supporting artists and musicians. I don't monetize my videos, so if you see a video with thousands of views, just know that the income is $0. I also have a Twitter where you can follow me, where I post about anime titties and I also retweet a lot of stuff. So you can add me on Steam as well and also play games with me whenever I do have the time. And you can also support me on Patreon for literally $1 a month, which goes to supporting the artist because I don't ever see $1 of it. And also, I just want to add that I'm not a trap, so quit that shit. But now it's on to the video. There are two gigantic markets for anime, the one in Japan and the one here in America. Typically, these two giant markets are what create revenue for the anime industry. There are other countries across the world, but they don't generally make as much money as these two. If you live in a country that doesn't have access to Crunchyroll, you're kinda shit out of luck, but if you happen to be blessed in a country where it is available, you can enjoy that anime goodness. Even looking at series that are dubbed over in a native language to some, there aren't a lot. Some shows never get localized in Mexico, Germany, Spain, Brazil, Hungary, Italy, Korea, and China. Usually big name anime like Full Metal Alchemist and Dragon Ball Z have been localized in those places with voice actors and actresses in that given language. So what's the point in all this anyways? Well, let's give out a hypothetical. Say you live in a country where you want to watch Citrus and you can't because you don't have access to any anime streaming service in your country or they never localize it. What's your next step? Either wait many, many years down the line and pray to whatever god you believe in, or don't, or you can pirate it. Now, before you start going off in the comments and whatnot, just listen. My thoughts on anime streaming sites are out there, but I'll refresh your memory if you're new. I'll just let you in on it. Streaming sites like Funimation Now and Crunchyroll, to name the biggest of the bunch, don't know how to utilize the best of what they have. What I mean is they have almost zero server power. The best example of this is from the beginning of this anime season when the servers were so overloaded with new traffic that they were taken offline. Even now, as I make this video, their site at Crunchyroll, who don't forget is partnered with Funimation, was hacked along with a bunch of users' information. Pirate sites or torrent sites that I'm sure many of you may be familiar with haven't had these problems. They make a lot of money from traffic, sure, but they rarely, if ever, suffer from these issues. They're accessible from computer, and some sites are becoming mobile friendly for on-the-go viewing. These legitimate sites need to make improvements to their services like features, UI, and even, most importantly, servers. But that's about the bulk of it, and I'll touch more on it a little bit later in another video, but for now let's focus at the topic at hand. For starters, let's talk about why the anime industry isn't hurting in the way that you think it is. TV slots, much like primetime here in America, have to be filled, typically anime because it's one of the biggest industries in Japan and it makes some of the most money in the country. They have budgets usually less than your known AAA video game, but probably better in quality. Those budgets have been ever increasing with each year. Back in 2011, there was a Crunchyroll article, ironic, I know, but just hang in there, where they displayed the breakdown of where that budget gets spent. According to an investigation by Media Development Research Institute Inc., a 30-minute episode of a TV anime in 2010 totaled about 11 million yen, or about $145,000 at that current exchange rate. Fast forward to 2015, Anime News Network has another article covering the same thing. Anime insiders share how much producing a season costs, where they essentially lay out that according to Masamune Sakaki, a CG creator in the anime industry, an average 13-episode anime season cost around 250 million yen, or about $2 million. He also made it clear that most anime can't recoup this expense, and the anime industry rests on the windfall of a few big hits. In a July interview, Takayuki Nagatani, producer of Shiro Bako, itself an anime about anime production, claimed that his show cost 500 million yen, or $4 million for 24 episodes. In order to make it sell, he had to advertise it, plan events, and make merchandise. Shinji Takamatsu, a veteran animator, cited a figure of 150 to 200 million yen, which is about $1.2 million to $1.6 million. Expecting to make that up through disc sales alone is a hopeless business model, but that's how almost all late night anime are, he writes. And this is where licensing comes in. Companies like the aforementioned Funimation, Crunchyroll, and even their competitors like Hulu, Netflix, Sentai Filmworks, and now HIDIVE all have to spend money on licensing these shows from their Japanese counterparts, either via home video licensing or streaming. A document released back in 2012 references ADV Films and how much they bought the licenses for their most renowned series for. Some of you may remember a series like Sergeant Frog, which was bought for $408,000, or Guyver, which was bought for the whopping price of just under $1 million at $746,665. This money gets put back into the anime industry. Simple economics will tell you that these companies turn a profit off of these series by providing them through a catalog service like Netflix and such. By paying a fee of, let's just say $10 a month for a service like Netflix, that boasts over 107 million subscribers means that Netflix has over $1 billion just from subscribers. Now, that number is a little skewed due to the fact that some users pay less for non-HD streaming, or they might have 4K streaming plans and they pay a little bit extra. But that number is still incredibly high. To put that $1 billion into perspective, Avatar by James Cameron had a budget of $237 million and made $2.788 billion at the box office. Given these numbers from just one service, just imagine the others like Crunchyroll, who last February celebrated 1 million paid subscribers. That means with Crunchyroll Premium at $6.95 a month for 1 million people, that's at or around $7 million per month. And if you multiply that by 12 months, you have $84 million per year. For a site that licenses series each season, it starts to make you wonder where all that money really goes. But enough about how they should invest in infrastructure. Another way anime companies make money besides licensing is from product placement. Anime like Code Geass and Railgun have sponsorships with Pizza Hut in the past. Product placements is a way that anime companies make money. Whether you see the product in the anime or the anime in the product, money is exchanged to bring in that extra revenue. Another example of this is Grand Blue Fantasy and their partnership with McDonald's Japan. It was already hugely popular to begin with, but of course, to be able to sustain itself after the fact, product placements and deals were made. Merchandise is another way that helps the anime industry, so even if you pirate a show and you like it enough to the point of being a part of the fandom, you can buy keychains, wallpapers, wallets, action figures, towels, mouse pads, body pillows, etc. You can buy an array of things to support the anime industry without ever stepping foot into an online paid service, or rather through a legitimate means. Something else that may also help that you may not have been aware of is the source materials, which obviously if it's not an original production, it won't have one, but they usually have manga or a webcomic that you can read online or purchase through like Books A Million or Barnes & Noble. Hell, even through Amazon, buying things that you treasure helps put life into the anime industry, even if you're a filthy pirate such as myself. As was mentioned before, disc-based sales, aka Blu-ray and DVD sales, are also a decent part of bringing money to the industry. Now, we have it fairly easy here in the West when it comes to home releases, as Blu-ray prices are decently reasonable, while in Japan their target audience is generally consisted of hardcore, die-hard otaku who are willing to spend over $100 for their beloved anime and to watch it at any time that they please, and they also get some exclusives in the mix. Series like Dirty Pair Flash or even my beloved Symphogear all have DVD releases and they went out of print, meaning they don't produce them anymore and they've all been bought up. But there is no time limit if there are some that you can find and purchased. Ultimately, it may lead to a remaster. Slayers is one that comes to mind, but you get the idea. Cowboy Bebop keeps getting re-released, and for a while, Dragon Ball Z with its iterations of VHS tapes, DVDs, and with Dragon Ball Z Kai, I mean, it's not hard to imagine this bringing in more money for an already enormous cash cow. But I think this is about all I have to contribute to the conversation of why anime piracy, for lack of a better word, is good. I mean, it's not good, but it's not bad either. It's something that is definitely illegal, but also one of the only ways for some in other countries or those without credit cards like younger people on the internet that want to support the industry. At the end of the day, however, you can support the anime industry like the ones I listed. Support what you love and the things that you're passionate about.